On behalf of the team at Gallop TV, to you, the valued racing fan, it's a warm welcome to our preview show for the 27th of December. Wednesday, we race at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. I trust that you all had a wonderful time over Christmas and looking forward to ending off 2023 with a bang, finding a few winners, and who knows, you may catch a few exotics as well to end the year off on a high. As always, we welcome our analyst for our racing from the Western Cape, who is Graham Hawkins. And Graham, I trust that yourself, Babette, and the family and all your loved ones, you had a wonderful Christmas.
Yes, thank you, Dees. It was absolutely fantastic. Just at home, but surrounded by family and loved ones, and it was really a wonderful Christmas.
Okay, let's get straight into it, Graham. And you've been in fair form, and hopefully that form continues towards the end of the year. And what's on the betting menu, you may ask? Well, it is a busy card because they've put on 9 races, so the exotics will all begin in race number 2. And I see the start to the meeting is 1200 hours sharp. Race number 1, well, this is going to be tough. We'll use the forecast betting as a guide. It is a juvenile plate over 1,000 meters. Maybe Graham can enlighten us if he knows anything about any of these first-timers. Number 1 is at 11-2, Graham, 5 at 8-1. Then we got the 12-10 shot in the race. Of course, experience the key there. And 7 at 33-10. Yeah, it doesn't form part of the exotics, Graham, but can you help us in any way?
Well, let's hope so. It's not a big field, Dees, and the betting does suggest that number 6, Handsome Prince, will be the one to beat. He's had the one run under the belt. He was 5th of 8 behind Sweetie Darling, beaten only 2.5 lengths. 2 direct winners have come from that form line. He's certainly got a juvenile pedigree. He's out, his by Karari out of a mare that won a juvenile stakes race. Maleficent won the Debonair Stakes, so it's got 2-year-old pedigree written all over it. So Handsome Prince should certainly give you a good run for your money, but I wouldn't be rushing in to grab the 12-10, that's for sure. There are a couple of well-bred first-timers. Number 7, Commanding, described by Glenn Cotson as a smart horse. He's a half-brother to the stakes-winning Celtic Voyager, was exported to Dubai, plus 3 other winners out of the mare. Brooksider, Vaughan Marshall, Bernard Fay Durb shows good work at home, and we know that Vaughan Marshall is at the top of his game with 2-year-olds. Number 5, Hemisphere, easy to back, but out of a 9-time winning mare, Starburst Galaxy won a stakes race and won 9 races and is a sister to the dam of Bless My Stars. So that's a wonderful family. And then 2 that are not in the betting but might shorten before race time. Number 4, Gimme the Good Life. The jockey declaration suggests that perhaps not ready to win first up. But what a pedigree. Our 2 champion sires in the country are Gimme the Green Light and Vercingetorix. And this is a son of Gimme the Green Light out of a sister to Vercingetorix. So that's a 5-star pedigree. And 9, Burning Man, the Dam Shipboard Romance, is a daughter of Captain's Lover. So yes, Handsome Prince has got the experience under the belt, and we know that often stands him in good stead. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a very forward run from Commanding, who's described by Glenn Cotson. He's already had a couple of 2-year-old winners as a very smart horse.
Yeah, I think the guys on course, they often do a good job bringing you comments for these first-timers. So maybe listen up for those comments and then match that with the way are presented in the ring. But Graham could be spot on here with the horse that's got the experience, especially on the strength of the form line, number 6, Handsome Prince. Let's move along to the exotics, and we'll start off the bar pot. That will begin at 12:35. It's a juvenile plate for fillies, over 1,000 meters. It's a big field, and there are a lot of horses that we are going in blind here. Forecast betting, Graham, single figures. Number 9 is at 4-1, number 10 at 2-1, and then it is double figures, the balance, just 2 runners in single figures. I'll begin the batting here, Graham, with number 10, Sorcerer Supreme, because of Dylan's involvement here with Marlon Nika, Kenny Governor, and Ashwin Reynolds. Can tell you that first time when she debuted, Michelle Reeks was very upbeat about her chances. There was anti-post betting money. Then come race time, she did drift out with support coming for a few of the others. But they were of the opinion that she will run exceptionally well first time out. And the horse that was the subject of all that betting support was Glenn Cotson's runner called Whistle the Tune. But nevertheless, she ran to a point, and I think it was more the inexperience that found her out. But that run would have brought her on a ton, and there's positive comments coming through from the yard that run has certainly brought her on a lot, Graham. And the fact that she was fancied first time out, Richard Free has been there to work her. He worked her prior to her debut. He's been there to work her since. And he's passed on that confidence to Michelle. So if you like Sorcerer Supreme, I can give you the green light that she's exceptionally well.
Well, that's good news, Dees, because this is the first leg of the bipot, and there are 17 carded, 11 first-timers, so it could be a bit of a nightmare. But if you could nail your colours to the mast in the bipot with number 10, Sorcerer Supreme, that makes a huge difference. So initially I've got 6 horses lined up for my first leg of the bipot. I know that over the Christmas weekend they weren't able to capture our suggested bets, but I've got 6 horses lined up for the first leg of the bipot. But I'm going to play 2 perms off the back of what you've just told me. One, I'm going to take a smaller perm multiple times because there are a couple of other bankers that I fancy a little later on. Number 10, Sorcerer Supreme, a banker in the one, but I'm going to stick to my guns, and just in case she fluffs her lines, because she has a staying pedigree. Yes, she showed terrific speed first time out, found wanting in the closing stages. She's certainly bred for further, but these erupts do show a great deal of precocity as 2-year-olds. So lots to like about number 10, Sorcerer Supreme. Just to mention a few others. Number 6, Yo Lacadin. Again, it's Ashton Harris and Vaughan Marshall. A very quick pedigree for the Hollywood Syndicate by Oratoria out of Miss Ipanema. That's a quick pedigree. Daphne's Daughter, as you mentioned, is the only other runner quoted in single figures at this early stage. So this market might well change a lot as we approach race time. By Vercingetorix out of Skippers, the first foal, the Dam 1-6, including a grade 2 and a grade 3. Number 13 in the green zone, the first foal of In the Stars, the Dam 1-3, lovely pedigree. So there are a few others that are worth mentioning, including those that I have just done. So 5 Sheets and Goggles, also give me the green light, first timer. And so 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, and 13. 5, 6, 7, I've included number 7, Timeline. Finished a couple of lengths behind Sorcerer Supreme, but it's by One World and can improve. So the one perm banker, number 10, Sorcerer Supreme. The other perm, numbers 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, and 13, taking no chances. But of course, you have the benefit, as we always say, with the first leg of the bipot, when it's a maiden juvenile plate, you can delay your selections in the first leg until very close to race time. Watch them go to the start. Watch the latest betting moves. Some may drift, some may shorten, but certainly on the basis of what you've told us, 10 Sorcerer Supreme could be the one to beat.
Yeah, I think that's a nice way to play it, Graham. Just the 2 perms, either number 10 or wide, as Graham mentioned, and we'll touch on Graham's bipot at the end of the show. But 10 Sorcerer Supreme, as I mentioned, if you like it, you can have a go. Race 3, place accumulator, 1310, 1200 meters. It's an open maiden, and this is the way they're betting. Number 4 at 6-1. There is a jockey changer for number 5, Dance Master, Keenan Stain. Number 6, 7-2, 7, 8-1. Scratched, a later scratching to the card is number 8. That will take no part. And then we got horse number 10, Dancing to the Light, Graham, at even money. So it is the start of the place accumulator. Are we going with the even money shot here, or are we running for cover?
Well, I'm a little bit bruised after Footre cost us a fortune over the weekend. Pretty much everything else panned out as we expected on the day, with Montalina winning and Yellow Porsche Road winning. But you've got to pick yourself off the floor and come back fighting, and I'm happy to absolutely nail my colours to the mast with number 10, Dancing to the Light. She looks the right one. Third run of its career. Introduced to racing as a gelding by giving the green light, has the right pedigree, has the come-on look, and has the form to beat number 4, Counter Attack. They're both race-bound Trippy Silk. And Champagne Max form doesn't add up to a hell of a lot, so it's a very thin race. Banker number 10, Dancing to the Light in the bipod, the place accumulator, and the quartet. So the way I'm playing this quartet is 10 to win, 4 and 6 to run second, Field to run third and fourth. So Counter Attack and Champagne Mac, the only possible dangers. Babylon can improve a little bit, but I think Dancing to the Light, that's my nap for the day. I think he'll get the job done.
Just a curveball here, Graham, and I'll give you a bit of time to possibly think about this. I see there's no merit rating given to this horse, and when I look at the balance of the 3-year-olds, the highest is a 77. On what this individual has shown to date, much higher than that mark, Graham, of 77?
Yeah, it would be much higher than that mark. And 77 plus, as the old time form books used to say, in other words, 77 plus, definitely on an upward curve. I would expect further improvement with each and every run out of number 10, Dancing to the Light. And this, as I said, is a very shallow field. It's not going to take a lot of winning. So I'm confident to go in with number 10, Dancing to the Light.
10 out of 10. That's Graham's suggestion here with number 10, Dancing to the Light. This is where the day could begin for the team at Gallop TV. On to race number 4. It is the big one, the pick 6 over 1,200 meters. You need to get your perm on by 13:45. It's an open maiden for fillies and mares. The betting, the horses in single figures as we bring up the field. Number 2 at 33 to 10. Number 4 is at 13 to 10. Then we go on to number 7 at 7 to 1 and 10 at 6 to 1. Well, can we go bang, bang, races 3 and 4, because this Andre Nel, Platinum Racing and Cornet Offer, they're in excellent form, Graham, and they're ending off the year exceptionally well.
Definitely the one to beat, number 4, Pushing Limits. A very pleasing debut. Finished off its race very well on the 10th of December. That form was franked by Nile the Boss over the weekend. Nile the Boss finished somewhere behind Pushing Limits and came out to win. So there's every reason to believe that Pushing Limits is going to be very hard to beat in what is, again, a very shallow field. Fanny Campbell has some claims. Simply Beautiful has some claims, but has been around in the maiden ranks, having its 22nd start in the maidens. I do fancy a little bit of number 10, Jet Green. Gets a lot of weight from Pushing Limits and Sports Blinkers for the first time. So number 4, Pushing Limits, is my confident first choice. But if you're going to back it up, I would suggest you back it up with number 10, Jet Green. The blinkers could make a significant difference. The form doesn't add up to a hell of a lot, but clearly could be better than rated, and blinkers might make a difference. As I said then, so the quartet play for me here is 4 and 10 to win. 2, 4, 7, 10 to run second, and then put horses and horses, because Fanny Campbell and Simply Beautiful do have claims. The rest, anything else wins, it would be a major surprise. But I'm happy to go with number 4, Pushing Limits. The exacta horse would be number 10, Jet Green.
Do we just take that run on what we saw first time out and we ignore the fact that she was unfancied and drifted out at 66 to 1 gram? We just take it that she ran a forward race first time out and that's where she's going to build from, and we ignore the betting there?
I think you ignore the betting. I don't think Andre Nel ever tunes him up to win on debut. He's not one of those stables that rushes his debutants into a race. They're not a gambling stable either, as we know gambling stables to be. So yeah, obviously there would be some would be put off by the fact that she went off at 66 to 1 and ran a forward race. But his horses in a good space, as you've mentioned. The team are doing well, and given the paucity of form around her, you've got to put number 4, Pushing Limits, as difficult to beat. As I said, the exact horse for me would be number 10, Jet Green, then 2, Fanny Campbell, and 7, Simply Beautiful.
Yeah, it is, with all due respect, and as Graham has mentioned it a few times, just on the lack of opposition, she's priced up at 13 to 10, and all she needs to do is just repeat that first start, and I think she will be hard to beat there. On to race number 5, Graham. It's jackpot time, 14:20, 1,600 meters. It's an open maiden for fillies and mares, and the betting in this race, number 1 at 4 to 1. Then we go on to number 5 at 33 to 10, and I see that is a blinker strike. Then we go on to number 10, Blind Faith, at 7 to 1, and 11, Ticking Bomb, at 5 to 2. I think the first question could be, I see Glenn Cotson's got 3 runners in the race, and I take it that Raymond Danielson is the first choice for the stable. If he is the first choice, is that the right horse from the yard, number 11, Ticking Bomb?
I think it could be the right horse from the yard, number 11, Ticking Bomb. going about its business the right way, bred on exactly the same lines as Snow Pilot by Lancaster Bomber out of a mare by Captain L. I'm not suggesting that Ticking Bomb is going to scale the heights that Snow Pilot has scaled, but the pedigree speaks volumes. Only had the 2 starts, plenty of scope for further improvement, but I wouldn't completely ignore number 7, Fairfield. We fancied a little bit last time at a big price, and was running on really nicely from a long way back. And Sean Veal is back in town. He's he was riding winners in the Western Cape before his horrific injury. Ironically, the horse that he was injured on was number 5, Sun Spectacular. He got his injury on the 7th of October when Sun Spectacular came down behind Ticket to Vegas. Now he's got to take on Sun Spectacular, who, as you mentioned, the late declaration has got the blinkers, and Sun Spectacular's got the form to win a race like this. And then number 1, Kicker D-Die. I don't quite know how to pronounce that, so I'll be honest with it up front. I think that ran a very good race last time out in a weekish race, but certainly comes into the picture. So this is a difficult race. This card, this 9-race midweek card, it's 2 maiden juvenile plates. It's 4 open maidens, 2 class 5s and a class 4. So we've got to work our way through the quagmire, but many of these races I do believe you can narrow down. So in no particular order, I'm going to throw 4 horses into my exotics, numbers 1, 5, 7, and 11. I'm going to rely on that quartet of horses to get us through. I think my marginal first choice would be number 1, Kicker D-Die, but healthy respect for Ticking Bomb, Sun Spectacular, and even Fairfield, who's still at a big price. She's around 12 to 1, so I'm going to throw into the mix just in case we get that little bit of a reversal and Fairfield turns out to upstage her stable companion Ticking Bomb. So that's the way I see the race, D's. Again, maybe 1 or 2 others worth a mention. Cabaret can improve, Blind Faith, but I'm happy to go with the quartet that I've mentioned to get me through the jackpot, to get me through the pick 6, numbers 1, 5, 7, and 11.
I agree with that, and I think 7 will be the best result there, as Graham mentioned. If you want to drop tickets in the first leg of the jackpot or the second leg of the pick 6, 7 has to go in there. Although Raymond Danielson has opted to go for number 11, that's certainly not out of it, the stable companion. On to race number 6. It is an open maiden, and 1,600 meters the distance here. Number 1, Indecent Proposal, is at 11 to 2. 3, Cosmic Captain, is at 11 to 2. Then we got Bellas Pablo, number 5, at 5 to 1. The scratching is number 11, Graham, at the time of recording. And do we have any other runners in single figures? No, we don't. This race, Graham, you can see the way they're betting, unlike some of the previous races where, you can see that there is separation in the fixed odds betting market. But this race, if you get through with the minimum spend, and hopefully you can try and help us, I personally think it's a win if you can go less than half the field.
I think we can go less than half the field. I was very surprised, to be honest with you. I know we've had one scratching, but 18 horses carded, all no reserve runners. They're all carded to race. 18 over 1,600 meters in an open maiden. How's that a recipe for disaster? So draw and luck in running is going to be crucial. I'm going to touch on 2 horses that are wide out in the betting, but that are badly drawn to start with. Number 15, Holding Thumbs, was progressing well at the end behind the Real Prince. There was a lot of talk about Holding Thumbs when on debut. There was a bit of money around for him, and they were bullish that he would run well, although they immediately said, definitely once further. The 15 draw is not going to help, but Holding Thumbs has got to go into the play. The horse drawn worst of all and has a mountain to climb and will need everything to open at the right time for him. Sean Veal has success with Eric Sands. He's had 51 rides for Eric Sands for 8 wins, and he's reunited with Eric Sands, fully recovered from his injuries. Sean Veal, 18 out of 18 draw. He's got the form to be competitive, but hell, it's going to be hard from there. So my short list, you've asked for a short list. Number 1, Indecent Proposal, not a bad debut. That form still has to be proven to stand up. Ozark won a very weak maiden, so I'm not going to get carried away with Indecent Proposal, but Richard Faree takes the ride and he's drawn in gate 1. I don't know who's going to ride number 3, Cosmic Captain. Remember, this is an open maiden, and obviously the stable companion Bellas Pablo, Louis Mkotwa, has chosen to ride that one. But Brett Crawford holds a very strong hand. Have you heard who's riding it? I checked this morning, still no jockey.
I'll take a guess, Graham. I think I'll take even money on this. Anthony Andrews on the scratch toss. Come on.
Well, that could well be. That could well be. And what a nice opportunity that would be for him. Anthony Andrews grabs every opportunity with both hands. Cosmic Captain has got to be competitive. He finished ahead of Apache Chief last time out. He's drawn in gate 3. Apache Chief is drawn in gate 18. But Bellis Pablo coming along the right way. The form lines have been franked, so that's got to go into the play. So to shorten this down, I'm going numbers 1 Indecent Proposal, 3 Cosmic Captain, 5 Bellis Pablo, 15 Holding Thumbs, and I'm not going to discount Apache Chief completely despite his very wide draw. So those are the 5. The next in line would be 4 Flash Lightning and 13 in the bag if you want to go a little wider. If you want to go even wider than that, then numbers 2 Padre Dior and number 7 He Knows. But I don't think you need to include the field. I'm quite happy to go with my top 5 horses. It's wide open. The betting tells the whole story. They're betting 5-1 the field. So numbers 1, 3, 5, 15 and 18. The next 2 would be 4 and 13.
Yeah, you know, the fact, you know, when you mentioned the entire field, I just had a look at all the jockey names here, Graham, and, you know, maybe you can shed some light. Besides Sean Veal, all the other guys are regular riders in the Western Cape. So it's really nice to see all of them get a chance here, Graham, because I think that could be the entire jockey room. So that's why I say Anthony Andrews could certainly be on number 3, because I don't think there's anybody left to ride. So race.
There's not be anybody left. And obviously with these open maidens, you get a number of runners carrying 52, and it's nice to see Craig Bantam. He rode another superb winner over the weekend. He also grabs the chances he gets with both hands. Josh Solomons and these guys who are lightweight riders to take care of these that have to carry 52 in these open maidens. But as you said, there will be nobody left in the jockeys room. They'll be all quiet for one race, that's for sure.
Correct. Race 3, Cosmic Captain, chance ride. Let's see who gets on, and we suspect, we predict that it could be Anthony Andrews. Graham has given us some numbers there, and he's managed to narrow it down, and I think that could be a win for us there in race number 6. Race number 7, the Cape Summer Season of Champions. It's over 1,600 meters, and here, number 1 is at 9-2. Then we go on to a 18-10 shot here, Graham, in Like the Clappers. Moving along to number 7, Incredible at 9-2. Number 8, No Apologies at 7-1. And then it is double figures, the balance. This horse has separated himself from the balance of the field with the betting wise, Graham. And I can see why, because, you know, they seem to have found the right type of recipe for him coming back to the track, because he went slightly off form. I'm not saying off color completely, but off late he's grown in confidence, this horse, number 5, Like the Clappers.
He's become very consistent. Absolutely doesn't know what it is to run a bad race. I'm wondering about the 1,600. I'm not saying he can't win over 1,600 meters, because actually he's never run over 1,600 meters, but he's been very effective over 1,400 meters. He likes to go forward. He often fails to find that little bit extra in the closing stages, so that has to be a little bit of a question mark, but he's certainly entitled to his position at the top of the boards. But the horse that interests me most is number 1, Slurricane. He won both his races in the Western Cape. He hasn't been seen since the 11th of April. But the comments, and talking about Anthony Andrews riding here for Vaughan Marshall, the comments from the Vaughan Marshall stable are working well, will run well. And when you go back to his last run on the 11th of April, yes, it was in yielding going. Who did he beat? He beat Like the Clappers by 2 3/4 lengths. So Slurricane and Like the Clappers, they've met before. But for the rest, Slurricane should be ahead of Like the Clappers in the pecking order. But of course, Like the Clappers has got current fitness on his side. Only 2 other runners worth a mention. Number 7, Incredible, stable companion to Slurricane. Also very game, very consistent, always a threat. And then I think that number 8, No Apologies, will improve on that last run behind Magic Verse. The run behind Bardolina was not a bad effort. So my top choice would be number 1, Slurricane, ahead of number 5, Like the Clappers, but you've got to throw in 7 and 8 into the play as well. It's a Class 5 handicap, and on that basis alone, you've got to believe that it's Like the Clappers, while he's a worthy favourite, is not banker material.
Yeah, you know, as Graham mentioned, there could be a question mark over the distance, but let's not forget that Like the Clappers has won over 1,800 meters and has placed over 2,000 meters. So of late, they've been racing him over shorter, and maybe it's about time that they put him over ground. Number 5, Like the Clappers, and fitness Well, Graham has mentioned the comments given by Vaughan Marshall. 8.5 months is a long time, and you need to have your horse spot on to come back from that rest to win over 1,600 meters. And who better than Vaughan Marshall to do just that? So Graham has managed to narrow things down there in race number 7. And my suggestion is, if you don't like the 3 runners he's given, numbers 1, 5, and 7, then you're going to have to include the field, because it gets very tough to try and narrow your selections down in race number 7. And I see this horse Ozark unbelievably shedding the maiden last time out, carrying 61.5 kgs. Let's move around to race number 8, 1,600 meters, and this is for fillies and mares, and we get straight into it. Number 3 at 4-1, number 5 at 5-1, number 7 Princess Izzy. I'm hoping Graham can give us some confidence with this horse, 33-10. And then we go on to number 9 Cloud Chaser, who I like as the cover at 5-1, and 10 Rainbow Lorikeet, Candice Bass, Robinson's runner. You can't discount on what she's shown post-maiden. Graham, can this filly go 3 on the bounce the way she's been going? I think Brett Crawford has got her, just running so well that when she stepped up to 1,600 meters last time out, she made it easier looking than when she won a maiden.
Well, last time out she dead heated, remember? This is a very interesting race. And in fact, last time out she was trained by Justin Snathan, dead heated with the Brett Crawford runner, Fatal Gem. So Princess Izzy is making her debut for the Brett Crawford stable. They dead heated last time, Fatal Gem and Princess Izzy. They meet at the same weights. So it's that form line versus the philanthropist form line of Cloud Chaser et al. It's the 3-year-olds versus the 4-year-olds. And to be honest with you, G's, I prefer the chances of number 3, Fatal Gem. Obviously, the form book says there'll be nothing to choose between them. They dead heated last time. They meet at the same weights. Behind them were Call Me Jetrix and Rainbow Lorikeet. So those 4 runners are closely matched, closely bunched. But I like the way that Fatal Gem was finishing off her race last time at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. She absolutely motored home from a long way back, whereas Princess Izzy was a little closer to the pace. So at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth this time round, I'm going to be in the camp of number 3, Fatal Gem, over number 7, Princess Izzy. Call Me Jetrix, number 5, and number 10, Rainbow Lorikeet, were 3rd and 4th in that race, and given the weight turnaround, should get a bit closer. And then you've got that philanthropist form line in which Cloud Chaser ran 2nd, and Miss New York ran 4th, and Catalea ran 3rd. So those are the 2 form lines that go head-to-head here. The latter form line behind Philanthropist represents the older horses. So I'm going to be in the camp of the improving 3-year-olds. So number 3, Fatal Gem, my first choice, narrowly in front of number 7, Princess Izzy. Then number 5, Call Me Jetrix. Number 10, Rainbow Lorikeet. Then number 9, Cloud Chaser. 2, Catalea. And 8, Miss New York. But when you have that many going for you, I know your formula. Can you safely lead out? Can you safely ignore the Philanthropist form line? Can you safely ignore the older horses against the 3-year-olds? I'm not sure about that, but if you want to take that chance, then be in the camp of the 3-year-olds and be in the camp of the Princess Izzy Fatal Gem form line.
Yeah, it looks complicated now that you mentioned that, Graham. Fatal Gem and Princess Izzy, strong hand for Brett Crawford, both horses on a hat-trick. And can Princess Izzy make a winning debut for Brett Crawford and make it 3 on the bounce? Or will it be Fatal Gem, the stable companion, that will do just that? Well, it is a tricky race. There's form to work around. There's horses that are improving. There's horses that are increasing in the rating. So you're going to have to be the judge if they're going to be caught by the handicapper in this type of field. But it looks like a complicated race now that Graham has mentioned the older horses versus the 3-year-olds. Race number 8, I think you'll do well to try and minimize your spend there if you are playing the exotics. Then on to race number 9 over 1,200 meters. Number 2, Masked Vigilante at 3-1. And number 5 is at 15-2. Number 7 at 33-10. Number 8 at 5-1. 8.5-1. Number 9, Mr. Frosty, 8-1, 11, 12 at 8-1. Well, Graham, compliments to you the way you read the card over the weekend, because just for that one speed bump, which was the first leg of the Pick 6, that last race you found us some tremendous value with Yellow Post Road. And if we just turned leg 1 and leg 6 around, we possibly catch that pick 6. But nevertheless, do you have a yellow Porsche road for us in race number 9?
Well, it's funny you should say that, because maybe the Lions race is lucky for me, but I think so. I'm very happy with the 8-1 being offered about number 5, Mighty Mac. Ignored's last run over 1,400 metres from the worst to the draw. Course and distance form is good. Very little to choose between Mighty Mac and Shifting Path. Mighty Mac actually won that race when beating Shifting Path in its penultimate run by a short head, lost the race in the boardroom. So he's overdue to win, and I think he's generously priced. It's obviously competitive. I am happy to narrow this race down, but I think my value bet for the day is certainly number 5, Mighty Mac in the last. You've obviously got to consider number 2, Masked Vigilante, the recent winner, number 7, Kelp Forest, number 8, Veronique, and of course number 11, Shifting Path. Number 3, Warm Winter Night, you can add to that list, and that would be your short list, or not so short list if you want to play it wider. But certainly my each way play for the day, my value bet for the day, comes in the lucky last. It comes in the form of number 5, Mighty Mac, and I think he'll give us a very good run for our money.
Wow, that could be a way to end it off. Graham going with number 5, Mighty Mac, as his value bet on the card. Bernard Fader and Paul Reeves, of course, just willing to ignore that last start when drawn 13 out of 13, never in the race at any time, and judging the horse on the previous form. And then one of the runners that grabs my attention there is Like the Clappers, who he ran 4 starts back. That could be the find of the day to end things off at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. And if you're not in the camp of this horse, strong as on the head, then possibly use him as a roving banker in the score chat, because I can predict that regardless of the top 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4 past the post here in race number 9, this quartet is going to pay exceptionally well. Graham, you've given your exotic for the day, and of course a best bet and a value bet. You just want to go through that?
Yeah, my best bet, as mentioned, race 3, Dance to the Light, number 10 on the card. I think that's the nap for the day. My value bet comes in the last, as we've just mentioned. Mighty Mac, number 5 in the last. Then I gave a bipod, and of course I worked out this bipod ahead of your comments about Sorcerer's Supreme. So in the first leg, numbers 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, and 13 going wide, but watch the betting, watch him go to the start. You have that luxury when the opening leg of the bipod is a maiden juvenile plate, and then playing another perm where we bank at number 10, Sorcerer Supreme, but then bank at number 10, Dancing to the Light in the second leg, bank at number 4, Pushing Limits in the third leg. You want to add one there. My exacta horse is number 10, Jet Green. Then numbers 1, 5, 7, and 11 in race number 5, which is the 4th leg of the bipod 9 race card. The bipod starts in race 2. 1, 5, 7, and 11 are Kick a Die, Sun Spectacular, Fairfield, and Ticking Bomb. Then 1, 3, 5, and 15 in the penultimate leg, Indecent Proposal, Cosmic Captain, Bella's Pablo, and Holding Thumbs. And the last leg, numbers 1, 5, and 7, Slurricane, Like the Clappers, and Incredible.
Well, the Hawk is in form. That is Graham Hawkins. I think it could pay to follow his selections at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on this Wednesday, the 23rd of December. And we say thank you to Graham for his input throughout the show. And of course, his suggested bet, value bet, and best bet on behalf of the entire team at Gallop TV, myself, Dees Dine, and to you, the valued racing fan. Hopefully it turns out to be a wonderful day for you if you're playing at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Find all the winners, make a huge profit, and until we meet again, you take care. Salani Gashle.